You're listening to Ciminelli Chats, where we aim to share the latest company news, real estate industry insights, and announcements. On this episode, we sit down with Ben and Allie Kestner, owners of the Lunchbox Café and Catering and Lola's Bakeshop in Buffalo, New York. The Lunchbox has been a Buffalo staple for over a decade, and Ben and Allie saw purchasing the business as the perfect opportunity to fulfill their long-awaited culinary dreams. Together, they are committed to growing the brand and creating fresh, delicious food and baked goods, along with unmatched hospitality. With 2 locations and a third on the way at the Lafayette Court Building, we talked all about how this dynamite husband and wife team plan to elevate the Lunchbox and Lola's Bakeshop experience. So first of all, thank you for joining us. We know that you're extremely busy right now. We're trying to open up that new location in Lafayette Court. Mm-hmm. So thanks for being here. Can you start by introducing yourselves and talking a little bit about who you are and why you're here?
I'm Allie Kestner.
And I'm Ben Kestner. And together we own the Lunchbox, as well as Lunchbox Catering and Lola's Bakeshop.
Wonderful. And are you 2 Buffalo natives? How did you get started in the restaurant business?
I'm a Buffalo native. My first restaurant job was probably when I was about 15. I was a busser in a restaurant, a local restaurant. And then I actually was an English teacher for a number of years. Nice. And then I made my way to culinary school where I met Ben, who's not a Buffalo native.
I'm not. No,
where are you from?
I'm from Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Oh, nice. I'm from Pennsylvania, too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, my very first job in the food industry was at Hershey Park. So
okay.
For me, that was a lot of fun. I was making cheesesteaks and serving ice cream. Mm-hmm. But the biggest impact it had on me was the people that I got to meet. Because growing up, you have that one track, that set of people that you know in high school. But working there, I met people from other high schools, and they had a really great summer intern program for foreign exchange students. So I met people from Russia and Puerto Rico and all over the world, and I just fell in love with talking to people and really just coming together and meeting new people. And for me, that had a lasting impact because I've only ever worked in food since then. So
yeah, that's awesome. It's funny that people was what brought you to food and not the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for both of us, for me, it was always the draw of just taking care of people, just wanting to feed them, wanting to make them happy through food. So
yeah, and then I went to the Culinary Institute of America. It's a pretty well-known culinary school in Hyde Park, New York. Yeah. I thought I was going to be a chef, and I actually started waiting tables while I was in school, and then I fell in love of the front of the house side of things. Mm-hmm. So that real taking care of people in the restaurant, making that experience. And of course we met each other at the Culinary Institute. So that's a lot of fun. We were literally in the same class together, and I'd be goofing around and she'd be watching my eggs, making sure I didn't burn my eggs and making sure I survived. And not much has changed. She still does that. So that's where we met. And together, we've worked in numerous different restaurants throughout the Hudson Valley, Rochester, Buffalo, and ultimately, we knew it was something that we wanted to do for ourselves and not for someone else any longer. Right. And we have a lot of great ideas and a really burning desire to kind of keep building what we've got. So
that's awesome. We're super happy to have you in Buffalo of all the places you could have landed. So how many locations does the Lunchbox have currently, and how did you come about being the owners of the Lunchbox? It was a business in Buffalo for the past, I couldn't even tell you how many years has it been. Over decades?
Sure. Yeah, it's been over a decade. So
okay.
Yeah, so I started working for the Lunchbox and Amy Van Osh, the previous owner, in 2015. I started off as the sous chef, and I worked with her for a number of years. Ben came on as the catering manager for a couple of years, and then I moved up to operations manager for the company. And then after COVID, it just kind of came about. She was looking to sell, and we just happened to be in the right place to do that. Locations, though, how many locations?
Yeah, so right now we operate 2 cafes. So this cafe that we're opening in the Lafayette Court Building will be our 3rd. So if you kind of looked into our company a little bit deeper, you would see half the business is the cafe side of the business, and then the other half the business is catering. So we do a lot of catering. We have its own department. So everything from drop-off breakfasts and lunches to full-service events like weddings and corporate functions and things like that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So this cafe will be our third, and then we're also opening the bake shop as well. So currently we make all our own baked goods. But we thought there's a real opportunity to grow that brand and make even more delicious baked goods. So that kind of led to the creation of Lola's.
Yeah,
so.
and I definitely want to talk about Lola's.
Sure.
That's what I'm anticipating the most. But can you talk about your inspiration for the bake shop and how that idea came about?
Yeah, so our oldest child, her name is Lola, okay. And she is just such a loving, like, wonderful girl, as most kids are. Mm-hmm. But she has that amazing, like, whimsical energy and, like, that positive, like, feel-good energy every single day, no matter the circumstance. And, when she was younger, she had a really significant birthmark on her face. And it was one of those things where she was born and it wasn't there. And then within a week, it was big and it's just started growing and growing, and then it affected her eating, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty remarkable. And we were in we went through a lot of different things to try and help her kind of get that taken care of, right? Because you want people to see your kid. You don't want them to see a birthmark. And obviously she was having trouble eating. So we did different treatments here in Buffalo with different doctors and nothing really worked. And we were in a really kind of a dark space, and eventually Allie on Facebook just found this. It's the Vascular Birthmark Foundation. While we were in a hospital here, she found it, and in the middle of the night reached out, and they connected us with a world-renowned surgeon in New York City. So from that point, how many surgeries did she have?
About 6 surgeries,
Wow.
10 laser treatments. So, yeah, through all of that, and she was obviously really small and resilient, but she came through it, and she's just always been so positive. So that was just kind of...
Yeah, and it was that positive energy, and, when you're in those kind of dark times, you look for an outlet, you look for something positive, you look for that joy, and she always had it, no matter what. And I think most kids always do. They're more resilient than parents, but it was just that joy and that positive energy that she had that was just so lasting on us through that experience. And we always knew that we wanted to do something to kind of share that joy or share her joy with other people. And that kind of was the birthplace for the bake shop. So, yeah.
That's a really beautiful story.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that, clearly it brings that personality to the space. And that's something that the Buffalo community really enjoys. Yeah. And with that, that's a whole niche portion of the bakery. So that's a whole nother challenge, a whole nother set of obstacles. Maybe was there any, a moment of doubt, and how did you overcome that?
I think we, in terms of opening the bake shop, I think we always have doubt, especially when you're making something out of nothing. Mm-hmm. But we know that we have a great product, and we sell a lot of cookies.
Yes.
We sell tons of cookies now as it is. So we're like, we might be onto something here. So it's, there's still, as we kind of finalize things and finalize the menu, there's not so much doubt. It's just more wonder than anything of what is going to be on the horizon for us, because it's really just a test and trial situation where as we're establishing our menu and our products for the bake shop, it's just kind of a day by day. So I look at it more as fun, because who doesn't like trying new baked goods? But it's you wake up today with a thought, but tomorrow it could be different. So it's just a really fun process.
Great outlook to have too.
Mm-hmm.
And then will you be open outside of that traditional 9 to 5 time frame? Because you are in more of a, I would say, commercial office space, but yet you have so much to offer.
Right.
Yeah, so traditionally the lunchbox is, we operate 7:30 to 3 for breakfast and lunch crowd. We will still be operating breakfast and lunch, but we would like to open up on Saturdays for brunch.
Nice.
That's really important. I think, the community downtown they're always out and looking for new spots to try. So we definitely want to be a part of that for sure.
Yeah. Not only that, we talked about using the space as an event space as well. So by day, cafe and bake shop open to the public, and then afternoon, evening, private event space. So if you want to have a corporate function there, if you want to have a shower or a rehearsal dinner, even a wedding or a birthday party or something like that, it's going to be a really beautiful space to do that. And it just gives people another reason to come down into the city and downtown. But to your point, for the weekend brunch, we see it all the time when we're down here with the hotels that are open and guests who are out of town. We see them looking on their phones for directions and wandering around downtown. So we're excited to add to that fabric for the tourism aspect as well. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you already have two, downtown or, close to downtown locations.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like you really are excited about that liveliness of downtown and bringing that here.
Mm-hmm.
So were you always looking at a downtown location, or what made you decide on the Lafayette Court Building on Main Street?
That's a really good question. So, yeah, we definitely, obviously downtown has seen its struggles in recent years. We all know it's well documented, but we're big believers in it. And we understand that it's kind of like a combination of all the different elements. We're not looking for one set of person, whether that's somebody who works here or somebody who lives here. It's kind of like a combination. We say, hey, there's people that work here, there's people that live here, there's people that travel here. So between all those groups of people, it is attractive. And I think on top of that, Ciminelli has been a great partner with us in terms of like through the whole leasing process and the build out phase. So they've really made it even more appealing throughout that process.
Nice. Yeah, we're super eager to see the completed space. Do you mind sharing with us a little bit like what that vision's going to look like, talking about that space?
Yeah, so the space is kind of like 3-in-1 almost. So you have the bake shop, and customers can see it from the street when they're, walking by. They'll be able to smell the baked goods from the street, which is really important.
Yes.
And then there's also the cafe, so savory food. And then we will also have a large grab-and-go selection. So if you want to come in, and have a longer lunch or a working lunch, you can sit down and relax if you just want to grab something quick and go. And then, like Ben said, so actually it's kind of 4-in-1 with the event space as well. So it'll kind of be a one-stop shop for everybody. The espresso beverages as well. So
it's got a nice modern, sleek look to it. Perpendicular lights and lots of natural light coming in from Washington Street. So, we're excited.
Right. Did I see garage doors too?
Yes. Yeah. That's a really cool element. So, there's 3 garage doors that open up to the lobby. So when we're open, you'll be able to hear the cafe music, the cafe sounds and smells as you kind of enter the building, and they'll kind of all waft into the lobby and create, a great atmosphere.
Yeah, the guest experience will be a little bit different than our other cafes. When customers order, we'll have food runners running food to their table rather than just calling out their name at the counter. So it's a little bit more, gives them a chance to relax and not just have to stand and wait for their food. We are also going to have, aside from being able to order from one of our staff members, we'll have a kiosk that customers can order from. So
nice.
That'll kind of help people through.
And the thought is, like, again, trying to appeal to multiple different people. So, hey, if you've got, like a lot of our customers now, they have a tight window for lunch and they have to be in and out. We've got a great grab-and-go selection in terms of sandwiches, salads, things like that. But then if you want to have that working meeting and you want to sit down, you can sit down, get started with your meeting, and we'll bring the food to you. And it's going to be, a cafe burger, maybe some French fries, a sandwich on our delicious house-made focaccia bread, things like that. Yes. So, yeah.
Love to hear that.
Yeah.
And I guess transitioning a little bit here, in what ways do you guys keep your work-life balance? I mean, this is a full-on consuming job. So how do you manage it all?
That's a great question.
That's a really great question.
Well, I think like just finding other outlets to almost like turn it off.
Yeah.
I think for us, it can be challenging sometimes because we spend the day working together. And then next thing you know, we're at home making dinner for the kids and we're still talking about it. Mm-hmm. But, we both have things that we love to do. Like Allie loves to do kickboxing. She does it like 4 times a week. I like to golf. So I think for us, it's important to find those outlets to kind of step away because it is a constant thing on our minds. And then obviously our kids help us do that too. So we have 3 kids. So
yeah. Wow. Okay. So it's definitely a full life.
It's busy.
Yeah.
Was there a specific moment that was a turning point for the business where you're like, okay, it's go time? Or was this more of like a slow burn, something you knew you always wanted to do and just kind of waited for the right concept?
So I think in terms of buying the business, it had been something we talked about for a long time. And like I said, like we've both worked in this business for a long time, but we've never had the opportunity to do it together. Mm-hmm. And we would always be on almost opposite schedules. So she worked during the day, and my previous role, I worked nights and weekends. Mm-hmm. So we kind of missed each other a lot. So in all the time that I've spent working in the food business, I've never had a job that has had this normal of hours as we have now, because again, we're focused on people during the workday. So it's primarily like a 7 to 3, 9 to 5 type role. Our staff loves that too, because it's kind of unheard of in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
But I think the thing for us was the hours were appealing, and the opportunity to do it together was super appealing, and we're not getting any younger. So we said we might as well go for it now. But it has been like a culmination of experience and like knowledge as you like have different roles throughout different companies. You kind of pick up certain levels of knowledge, and then you get to that point where you're like, okay, we're ready,
Yeah, and also, I mean, we could have started completely from scratch with our own business, our own concept, but having the Lunchbox name, there's already great following. We have a huge catering, following. So it just kind of made sense to start there and just build it rather than just completely from scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of the social following and the community, to stay up to date on opening day at Lafayette Court, where can we find you on social media, and what's the website?
Sure. So our website's www.thelunchboxbuffalo.com, and you can find us on Facebook and Instagram with all of our most up-to-date like menu offerings and happenings.
Nice.
And we're in the process of launching Lola's Bakeshop social media as well.
Okay.
But for the most up-to-date everything, check us out on Instagram or Facebook at The Lunchbox Buffalo.
Perfect. And then what should we be looking forward to as far as baked goods are concerned?
Well, we are playing around a lot with stuffed cookies.
Ooh.
So that's kind of like another level. It's kind of a cookie within a cookie. We will be doing cakes.
Nice.
By the slice and to order. Sticky buns, cinnamon rolls.
Scones.
Yeah.
And then breads as well. So we'll be making our brioche buns, which will serve all of our breakfast sandwiches on the house-made brioche bun. And then we'll serve our burgers on the brioche bun. And then we'll make, we've got focaccia bread that we're going to make every day as well. So we'll be serving a sandwich on that. Or if somebody wants to grab a few slices of that to take back to the office, we'll have that available. And then I would say that's a starting point. And we always look at everything that we do as, you've got to start somewhere. So that's where we're starting. And then we are very much like growth mindset people. So it's always, hey, what's next, or what else can we do? And our people will really dictate that. So a lot of what we do is we really try to position ourselves to hire people who are open to develop and grow, and then provide their input to the business. And if our people have great ideas, we really want to give them a chance to run with that idea. So it's relying on what our people's ideas are and where they want to go, and we'll let them dictate that too. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And in what ways can the Buffalo community continue to support you guys, while we're waiting for this third brick and mortar shop to open? Catering's probably in full swing right now.
Yeah, this is definitely a busy season for catering.
Yeah.
We've just had a meeting about this Saturday, and just the logistics. We've got quite a bit going on Saturday. So best way to support us, if you're somebody who's looking for a great fresh made meal during the workday, you can order from our website. So you can order right online from one of our cafes. We've got a cafe at 500 Seneca Street, which is in Larkinville. And then we've got one in North Buffalo in the Tri-Main building. It's very close to the Buffalo Zoo. So you can order from there. But then we also have a great offering in terms of catering. So if it's a meeting at work, or if you're doing a graduation party, you can order catering through us, and we're here to serve you that way. We've got a ton of fresh, delicious options, and people love it.
Is there anything, I guess, that you guys want to share with us, or you want to share with, the Buffalo community?
No, I think
I know.
Cake decorating classes.
Oh, yeah.
Something that we like to do. Part of our events at Lafayette Court, we would like to have cake decorating stations and classes.
So think about coming in with your team as think of like a team building thing, right? You come for a happy hour, you get your drinks from the bar, you got a couple snacks. If you want to have some content for your team, we can set up a little cake decorating area, so each person can decorate their own cake, and then it's like a 4-inch or 6-inch cake, and then you take it home with you afterwards, right?
Nice.
So a lot of fun for team building. So that's something that we've got going on. And then I don't think we touched on it. So the goal with the Bakeshop then is to be at a point where we're shipping things nationally. So more of an e-commerce side to the business. So that's also something that's in the works too for the Bakeshop.
It's nice that you're already thinking about scaling. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Very nice. Yes. Well, I'm sure you're going to be seeing a lot of us, especially
Great.
Probably day one we'll be down there.
Awesome. Cool.
Thank you again for being here. It was super lovely to talk to you both and to learn about the Lunchbox and Lola's Bakeshop.
Thanks for your time. Glad to be here.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Ciminelli Chats, and thank you again to our guests, Ben and Allie Kestner. Linked in the show notes, you can find the Lunchbox website, as well as their Facebook and Instagram accounts. Be on the lookout for an opening date at the Lafayette Court Building, and until then, you can support the Lunchbox at its other locations in the Tri-Main Center and 500 Seneca Building. Until next time.